Hello and welcome back to Loud and Proud Orlando here on another Tuesday night for a Pride Pod. You've got your hosts, John Rollins and Luis Carlos Pineda. I'm excited about this one, Luis. This is going to be a very special episode to talk about the biggest game of the season. This is probably our biggest Pride Pod ever, I feel like, right? Don't you think?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, this is for me at least 3 or 4 seasons in the making. Since I started covering the Pride, um, is I think the best momentum the team has had in history. Top of the league uh, after the strong win for the Battle of the Undefeated. We'll discuss all of that, but definitely the fans should be ecstatic and let us celebrate. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of things have been said. In this sport, you have to celebrate. I mean, if not, it would be a boring sport. I mean, you could have all the infrastructure you want, but you have to celebrate, especially a massive win. This team has gone through a roller coaster ride. Even the players that are currently part of the squad do not have some sort of idea of how the roller coaster has been since the inception of the Orlando Pride. So for a lot of the players that have been there for multiple seasons, like Marta, for example, you know, it's a huge moment. I mean, it's a huge moment. She could Orlando's poised to win it all. So it's a huge game. Obviously, there's going to be a part two in September. We'll discuss all of that and more, but definitely it's exciting times in Pride Line, my friend.
Oh, yes, definitely. We're going to get into all of that. First, talking about the game and then the reactions and everything else. But before we do that, we have some exciting news for everybody here on Loud and Proud Orlando. We are looking for your feedback. Like, we want to hear from you guys. So please let us know what you think about what we're doing here at the club at the channel. You can see I'm going to share this now. We have a if you go onto our Twitter, it's at the top there. We have a link to the survey. The survey itself, it's just a bunch of questions really asking you about Loud and Proud, how you listen, et cetera, et cetera. What do you want to hear? What you like, what you don't like, where you follow us, that kind of stuff, and a few other questions. So please go over there and click the link, fill it out. We want to hear from you guys. Give us your information on what you think about the show, constructive criticism. We've already had a bunch of submissions, so thank you because we talked about it yesterday on the City Pod, but also we want to get all the feedback from our Pride listeners and watchers. So you can find the link here, or it's on Instagram. It's going to be on the YouTube in the description as well. So go find it there. Fill out the survey. We want to hear your thoughts. So thank you very much, Luis. I feel like the Pride Pod has been a huge part of our growth this year. So we definitely need some feedback from our Pride fans as well.
Well, yeah, I mean it's been history in the making for the past 2 seasons since we started LPL. I always envisioned to have a Pride podcast, but unfortunately the timing wise it was impossible. But this year we definitely didn't want to pass up the opportunity to give the Pride what they deserve, which is have its own brand of podcasts. So I'm delighted that everyone is really supporting the brand, and thank you guys for all your support. So I'm gonna be putting the actual survey on the chat on YouTube as well right now. Um, just you could just fill it out at your leisure. It's gonna be pinned as a message here on the chat box, so you can certainly do that, or you can go to any of our social media outlets and it'll be right there. I know that we have a pin on Facebook, on Twitter, and also we'll have it on the community section on YouTube too after the show.
Great. Well, thank you for everybody who goes and fills that out. Now we're going to talk a little bit about this game, Luis, the game of the season so far. I feel like there was a lot of hype going into this one. I mean, rightly so. Two of the undefeateds going in to see who comes out still undefeated, and the answer is Orlando Pride. So we could be happier about that, of course. But let's talk about how it went down. First of all, let's talk about these lineups, Luis. Do you feel like there was any surprises there in the lineup for us? I have one which I was surprised was included.
Not really. I mean, I think, hold on, looking at the actual, I'm trying to look at the highlights here. Oh, right here. I had him up. Um, right there. So they don't put the lineups there, but I was surprised by Kerry Lawrence being in the starting lineup. Honestly, I thought maybe Brianna Martinez could have been there. Unfortunately, she got a red card. It was a bad tackle too. So you know, it is what it is. They definitely pulled it off, but I think she had a lot of momentum. In the beginning of the game, but slowly it was kind of dwindling down a little bit. So having to have Kerry Lawrence right there, it really surprised me. It kind of forced for Orlando to play with make some changes. And Julie Doyle unfortunately was subbed out, and you had to make the substitutions. But in the end, the team stayed composed and compact, and they were able to get the win because it's like the best. I mean, I think Orlando Pride, the reason why they're number one right now is because they have a mix of great offense and great defending. I mean, the great defending didn't stop with Karen Lawrence being out. So, I mean, that right there, it says a lot. It sets you apart from the rest of the league. So, a lot of people were saying, hey, this great KC, attack, Chawinga and all of that, and Kylie Strom, Emily Madrill, Carrie Abello. I mean, Emily Madrill with the momentum in the national team too. Phenomenal. Phenomenal job overall. So yeah, that was my first surprise having Carrie Lawrence right there. I wasn't really, I didn't have that plan when I saw that.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised by her inclusion, not because I don't think she's capable, just because I think she hasn't played that much, and yeah, I think also she had to defend Chewinga, so whoever you put there, I think would have suffered. But it obviously like Carrie, with her being a little bit, coming back more recently, it kind of I think might have been more difficult task for her. But I mean, that's us being hypercritical about, like you said, Louise. We won regardless. I do think that Carrie's yellow and red were probably like the two yellows were probably justified. So I'm not really going to argue that at all on that point of view. Also, I think Summer and Angelina for me, like there was no Haley McCutcheon, which I think was a surprise. But I know that she was listed as like coming back from illness, so maybe they just felt like she wasn't 100% to go in there, which I can understand. But I just think Summer Yates and Angelina are like both attacking mids, almost playing in that two central midfield roles. So I would have liked maybe Morgan in there or Ali Limos. Like if we need someone, I feel like to maybe hold it down a little bit more. But obviously, it was a strategy that Seb went for to put a lot of attacking players out on the field at once. And I don't know whether we could say we saw the tactic fully working like throughout the whole game, because obviously, like you said, we made those changes based on the the red card for Carey, and then it was a tactical genius by Seb, really, to still be able to win the game. And a big part of that being, like he said at the end, we practice these scenarios, and you could see, like, obviously they knew what to do. We were still able to be an attacking threat even without Carey. We got Banda, Adriana, and Marta up there. It's still able to cause problems. Let's go through the game, Luis. Let's kind of go through the highlights here. We'll play the highlights.
They were doing what the locals do, which is yelling at the rival team, making fun of them, making them feel uncomfortable. You know, it's just part of the game, right? I mean, but obviously, and it has happened to Orlando as well. Like, for example, I remember when Columbus came to Orlando, or when Chicago came to the Orlando City Stadium, in the Orlando City side, and they went ahead and they scored first. They went to the wall and celebrated in front of the wall. You know what I mean? Now that doesn't mean, and obviously the wall is going to be screaming out of their minds, this and that. But then, it's just the way it is. And so, but that's their fortress. So they actually on paper had the 12th man factor. And the cool thing to see about this team is that it did not fathom them. I mean, it did not affect them whatsoever. Mentally, they were ready to just take care of this game and put it in, put the goals behind the net and take advantage of the spaces. Like, they were super concentrated in winning this game.
And on the fly,
we kept possession so well in this game. I feel like we've lost Luis. I'm hoping he's going to come back in a second. It's probably his internet. He'll probably be right back. Let's have a look. I'll pull up the highlights. Here he is.
No, I don't know what happened. It just
The internet,
kicked
man.
me
The
out.
storm. We lost him.
It just completely kicked me out. But okay, here we go. Here we got the highlight. Yeah, that was a
and here's the thing. We always knew that was going to happen once. Like, Chewinga was going to do this at some point. She's just that good. And look at Emily Sams is so close to getting the ball there. And then she completely throws everything off and goes back on her other foot.
Correct.
And then surprise, this is where you think, okay, she's going to go to the side because look at all the players on the right. Like,
Right.
she's got two players to her right. So like, okay, she's going to go into the box and cross it. And then she just shoots out of nowhere. And I think that's what threw Anna, because Anna's still like getting herself set. And the defenders too. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, I was an unexpected time to shoot, if you ask me.
I feel like Kylie didn't want to go for the. She didn't want to go for the tackle because then Chewinga was going to fall and there was going to be a penalty.
No, that's smart. We shouldn't just go diving in.
Right. And then, it's just.
Anna was close. So I feel like it's so difficult to mark her. And this is where Carrie, she has a hard job. Let's be honest. Like, it's not easy coming back from injury like she is and having to mark Timwa Chewinga. Like, that's a real task for anybody. I think we would have seen a rough night for Bree. I think we would have seen a rough night for even Emily Sams at right back. Probably would have struggled with Timwa Chewinga. So I think we should say that before.
No.
But also, this is a silly challenge, and
I mean,
shouldn't make it.
It was a frustrating challenge for sure. I mean, she knew that she was being overpowered, and she had a tackle from behind, and
fast players like that, when you go for that tackle from behind and they're getting away, like, it just never looks good.
The rule's the rule.
Yeah.
It was second yellow, and Martha yells at the ref right there. I mean, 200 level at the other end of the stadium, and I knew at once she was off when she did it. It was that obvious. There you go. Thank you. Of all sad words.
Yeah.
Jay, Texas. Every defender struggles with Chewinga. That's right.
Yep. Thank you.
Let's effing go, says Rachel. Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate that. Should we continue?
LFG, baby. Yeah. Onwards. So, obviously the KC fans will talk a bit more about that later, but one of the complaints they've had is that this is not a red card. It's definitely a red card. So
this should have been a red card.
There's no complaint there.
She goes.
It wasn't given as a red card, but it could have been a red card, is what I'm saying.
Right. I mean, it kind of, to me, it should have been a red card.
Yeah.
So,
and they're saying it's not a penalty. It is a penalty.
It is a penalty because she went with intent, not to the ball, because the ball was already out of her reach, to knock. Adriana is gonna sell the foul. I mean, this is a sport in which you also, nowadays there's no, stop with the kayfabe, right? I mean, you have to understand, like, the striker is gonna overplay the foul either way. Especially she's Brazilian. That's what they do over there. You know what I mean? So, of course, it isn't.
But also, you can't. you can't make contact with the player that laid out. You know what I
Correct.
mean? It just didn't look natural. And Marta to step up and do this is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what a cold-blooded legend.
Let's hear the commentary for this.
Down under the bar.
Well, when we come back, Marta
Surprise.
has a penalty. So we didn't see that one.
And actually, with Kelly McCutcheon right there, I mean, it just looked. And then you have Raffaele, Haley McCutcheon, immediate impact, lockdown on D. Even with one player gone the whole entire game. So
Pedro Galese save right there. Do you notice
yeah,
that? That's
it
a
says
Pedro
Jay
special.
at Texas. It says they also counted how much time Anna had the ball. It says all of the sad words. This is when the guy sitting behind me started screaming "F you" and Marta over and over. There you go. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we're gonna do a whole section on this, but
Imagine the blowback for that as a red. There you go.
that's it. Final whistle.
And that's it.
All of the sad words has a good comment here. It says my Apple Watch thought I was having a cardiac event during the second half stoppage time. Yeah, I was sitting here on the edge of my like on the edge of the couch, like, what is going on? Why do we have 10 minutes? I was very upset about that. It felt very what's the word I should use here, Liz? It felt fortunate that they had 10 minutes of extra time.
It was convenient.
It was very convenient when
Very
they're
convenient.
at 10. We're down to 10 players, and there wasn't that much in the second half. Like, a lot of it was just us defending and them not really doing much. So where did this 10 minutes come from? That seems like an off calculation to me.
At the same time this game was going on, at the press box, we were obviously Orlando City was playing against DC United.
Yeah.
And literally when the whistle at the NWSL, we had the NWSL game on the TVs up top. And when it was over, we all stood up and clapped. Honestly, like, we all stood up and clapped because, it's such a huge moment. If you've been in that press box, I'm sure Mike and, Austin and the people from the mainland, myself, Alonzo, we've been through, it's been some tough times, man. It's been a tough road, navigating this NWSL road for the Pride. It's not been easy. And then this was honestly the excellence of execution, man. This was the excellence of execution on all levels, defensively and offensively. With 10 players on the pitch, and honestly, the beginning of the Pride really being not only a strong contender but possibly reaching hopefully an NWSL final. Which it's amazing. Going from being one of the not qualifying the playoffs of a point of a goal difference. To going through and having this momentum. It's like the 72 Dolphins, dude, if you follow American football. It's like it's a crazy season. It's like it never happens, but it's happening for the Pride. And that's one of the reasons why all of us stood up when the Pride were done and we clapped. Because, these women deserve this win. The hustle, the heart that they put in on there, it was just motivating, man. It just made your day. And then obviously the win 5-0 against DC, but that really like the Pride matters so much better because I feel like that win, it just set them completely apart. So
I know there was like a lot of cheering in the wall, and like I heard reports of they put it up on the screen at the game, and everybody was. So I love to see that unity between the two clubs, man. That's just what we want. We want that going on. So I think it was such a historic win for the Pride, right? You said that it's like such a massive point in the season. This we were all for weeks and weeks and weeks up into this game, like, oh, what happens when we play KC, right? Like, what happens when we play each other? Clash of the Titans. and I think Seb like nailed it, man. I think he like as shown, he's the tactical genius, and he played his best pieces better than they played their best pieces. And
Correct.
I think Vlatko got out. I think Seb cooked it up, and Vlatko served up some boring ass grilled cheese. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't good enough from them. And I think he goes like he said like, try and beat us when we put all our players back there, and then going down a player, and they're like, oh look, we got more confidence, we'll attack even more. All they did was just push themselves further up the field, and like they play like the least amount of passes to get up the game, man. It's just like so vertical. It's just like 1, 2, 3 straight up to to Chewinga, Debinha, whoever. And we just said, okay, if we sit here in our 2 lines of 4, we're not gonna let you in. And when we went down to 10, that was like even more compounded of the idea of like, okay, we're gonna rely on our defense and the determination, the grit. It saw us through, and they didn't have an answer for that. They don't know how to play other ways. We can play multiple different ways.
Correct.
And they cannot. And Seb goes, okay, so I'm going to play the way you can't play, and then you're going to be screwed. And that's what we saw.
That is a virtue of the different positions that each player could play on the pitch, plus the added touch and go flair of our mids, and our wings. Like you see Dooley Doyle dribble 1v1. Like she looks, I'm sorry, but it looks like Neymar, like it looks Brazilian.
Seriously.
But no, it's Julie Doyle, like straight up.
I mean, she's
and same with that.
She looks dangerous on the
right.
dribble,
Adriana is the same way. Now you don't see that. You don't see that from Casey. You see that more of like straight vertical game, one-sided in a way.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that Seb tactically has for this team. They're, in my opinion, more technically gifted players. I mean, look, Summer, what she could do, Angelina, Morgan, so Marta, so it's, and now you're going to add somebody like Grace Chanda on there. I mean, you're talking about, watch out playoffs, right? I mean, it's going to be pretty insane how far Zambia can go in the Olympics. We'll see, but I mean, definitely it's going to be fantastic to see the Brazilians with the Zambians, just clicking and just doing all this Jogo Bonito style that it's really taking the NWSL by storm. Now I know that there were some crying going on.
Well, before we get to that, I got one last thing I want to show you.
There's some comments on Instagram. Can I read them real quick?
Yeah, go read the comments.
So there's some comments on Instagram. It says Kim Scott 1120. Shout out to John for stopping by the watch party. It was nice to finally meet you. Yeah.
Shout out. I want to talk. Yeah, definitely for a second, Luis.
Sure.
I went to the Hammered Lamb watch party, as you know, because we divide and conquer here because we got 2 teams to cover at the same time.
Yeah, I was with City, unfortunately.
So I landed from New York off the plane and went straight to the Hammered Lamb to go watch the game. And Kim Scott was there, who is like one of the organizers of this event, like unofficial watch party for a lot of the people that are in the Orlando Pride NWSL discussion group on Facebook. So it was great to see everybody there. There was like a lot of people. I'd say like at least like I don't know, like 100 people, maybe that's exaggeration, but it was a good crowd of people there to watch the Pride, and that was great to see. So shout out to everybody who came out to that, and we should do it again. Like I enjoyed watching the Pride away. Like these games are so big. We're gonna have some big away playoff games, Luis. So maybe LPO is gonna organize a watch party. We'll see.
Yeah, we should.
Think about that in the future. So. It was great to see a little Pride community there. So shout out to everybody and Kim as well.
Yeah, I shall be there. Hopefully sometime right there. If I have some free time with everybody, it would be great to meet you all as well. So I'm glad that John was able to do that and to represent us right there at the Hammerhead. Also, Kim Scott says Marta was not yelling at the ref. She was yelling at Carrie. I felt that too. I just honestly didn't want to say, but I don't want to
I'm not.
But
no, right, I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not getting involved in that. You know what I mean? Seems like a personal issue. But obviously, Yeah, I mean, Marta has the authority. She's the captain of the team. You could tell, like, all these young players are so motivated playing around Marta. It's just, she's never had that before.
Martha would scream at any player on her team if they did that,
Yeah.
right? Because it's just
Yeah.
so important. And she, imagine if Schlegel and Marta played on the same team. Schlegel would never, Marta would never stop shouting
Sale
it.
will be traded.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Anyway, random thought there. Luis, I wanted to show you just some of the stats on this game because
You want to
I
share 'em?
think it shows. Yeah, I'm sure right here. I think it shows just how well like we defended more than anything. They had 23 shots. Anna made 7 saves. They're beating us. Like they have. We still had 5 big chances though. So even with all of that defending, we create better quality chances than they do. Apparently, they had 0 big chances according to SofaScore. I'm not sure what it says on FootMob, but obviously they, 19 fouls by them to our 10. So we'll talk a little bit more about the ref gave us the game. That's definitely not showing here. We also had more free kicks because of that. They had more yellows. We had that one red. Just overall, like we survived here. Yes, in some ways on the stats, but also we dominated for a reason. The fact that we can just defend, and they had 23 shots, but I think it's something like only 8 of them on target. So you just didn't hit the target enough, clearly, and we defended well, and that's what Seb banked on there. You can see it in the stats.
Yeah, I mean,
He said you can have the ball, you can play, but we're gonna make it difficult where you can't break us down, and you're just gonna shoot from distance, and that's why you get these kind of stats.
I think the way he set up the starting lineup was to say, I want to score in the first 15, 20 minutes of the game and just create a big impact. And once I feel like we have to hone down tactically, I'll take Summer off, put Haley McCutcheon right there, fresh legs. But due to the red card, he had to make that move right away. And in the end, it actually made them better defensively, and it caused issues because KC was just not there. And you had every single player knew this game was so important. It was like a final, right? Because it will set you apart on the table, going to a break, right? And so Raffaele came out ready to play a final. Like if she was playing a Champions League final or playing like the NWSL final. Same with Haley, and they're high intensity players either way in any other given day. So they didn't disappoint. It actually made them hone a little better, hone the ball a little better, in my opinion.
And at the end of the day, Luis, exactly. That's the only thing that matters on the screen right now.
Yeah.
That table, baby, 38 points versus their 35. We even got up there in the goal difference. We're above them now in the goal difference. So that was a concern before, like how many goals they're scoring. And if it was tied goal difference, like that's not even a problem because we took one away and added a few more ourselves over the past few weeks. So the Orlando Pride, I mean, could it be going any better right now? I don't think it could. I don't know what could possibly ask for from this. I have 0 complaints. And this win was like an opportunity for us to slip up. And not only did we kind of slipped up by getting a red card, but we didn't slip up because we didn't even let it cause us to lose the game or tie a game. We still beat our rivals in their house, which was the objective.
Plus, we have the depth. I mean, clearly we had the depth right there. So, I mean, I understand that Carey definitely is going to be surely missed on when they come back. But, I mean, one thing I do ask is now they're at the top and it's harder to stay at the top. So now, to my opinion, is maintain the mental state of the team throughout this break. I don't know how Brazil is going to do in the Olympics. I don't know how Zambia is going to do in the Olympics. I don't know how the USA is going to do in the Olympics. Maybe Emily is picked for the national team.
Saw her running around today, man.
I mean, she's a phenomenal defender.
Red, white, and blue.
She's a phenomenal defender. This was going to happen eventually, Haley was here and we mentioned it too, right? So, level-headedness. We haven't won anything yet. We're at the top of the table, game by game. That's the mentality we need to have still, in my opinion. Because we got to keep collecting those points. Like, because if we start, just thinking, oh, we're at the top of the league, we're the best team in the NWSL, and then here it comes Portland, or here comes Gotham. You know what I mean? We got to go and still have that, be a little humble, and go game by game. And I think if we do that, I mean, this team is destined for glory.
Before we get back in NWSL, anyway, we've got now the NWSL and Liga MX Summer Cup. We're going to talk a lot about that next week because we don't have a game this week. So next week we'll kind of deep dive into the three teams that we'll be playing. Monterrey, North Carolina Courage, and Racing Louisville are the three teams in our group, if you did not know. Particularly exciting about Monterrey, but like I said, we'll talk more on that next week. For now, Luis, it is indeed time to talk about the ever so still crying Kansas City Current fans. I mean, there's such a reaction to this. One that I think has surprised a lot of people in some ways, and in other people not so much. We've obviously only just interacted with this team this year, but there have reports that this has happened with the likes of Portland and other teams around the league as well, having similar reaction from the fan base of KC Current. Their main argument, from what I can understand from the fans that I've interacted with, being that they did not like the way we celebrated after the game. They're very upset with how we celebrated, and they say we should not celebrate in such a, I don't know what the words they use. They don't think it's very sportsmanlike, or they think we don't have any, I don't know, class or whatever. So they've, taken to social media trying to badmouth us in those ways. And also one of their players, Luis, in fact, Michelle Cooper, put it on her social media.
Right here.
That, you can show as well. One of the actual KC Current players. It was talked about in the presser by there. They have a local Fox Media news guy there who's been promoting it. There's lots of different outlets coming out complaining about the way that the Pride celebrated. Here Michelle Cooper saying, we will remember the way they acted after the cameras were off, counting down to September. There's a lot of talk, Luis, about they're getting revenge, like, oh, we'll remember that in September, or we'll get our win, whatever in September. Your thoughts on all of this?
Well, honestly, great to have a rivalry. If they want to create a rivalry against the Orlando Pride, that's fantastic. I think when Haley was here, I said, we need to have a rivalry, and if they want to give us a rivalry, hell yeah. Like, I have no problem, second of all, I mean, we're going to watch the footage, which we have the celebration, right? But you have to see this as a global sport. When you go to other places all over the world, even the national team, you celebrate like that, especially if the fan base, the 12th man for the local team is hostile. And some players are going to express their like F it, I got you moment, right? Some players, and that's an individual right. In my opinion, that's an individual right of each person, of each player. And I think that they're a little bit overreacting, in my opinion, because Orlando Pride clearly stole their thunder at their house. Because obviously they've been one of the league's darlings this year because of the CPKC Stadium, first professional women's soccer pitch in the States, right? Ran by women, all of that, which is fantastic, which I think is great. And they're making all these changes, positive changes for the sport. which kudos to them, which I think it's fantastic. And I support them as well. But Orlando Pride stole their thunder. They were the better team with 10 players in the pitch. And, you just can't be salty about it. You gotta, of course, there's going to be F-bombs thrown out there, especially if your fans are doing that too. Like, for example, I'll give you an example, Orlando City. When the against DC United, poor DC United keeper got scored 5 times, and the wall kept chanting, "You suck," right? A hole, right?
Your
Right,
sock has holes.
right, and then your sock has holes, right? And then do you see them like going to social media saying, "Hey, we know you lost 5. We know you scored 5 on us, but you gotta be better than that. You gotta just don't celebrate like that. Just please don't celebrate like that. It's just you don't see that. You just don't. Plus, KC has to know they came with great ownership, with a great coach, with great players into the league. They did it right, and kudos to them. But Orlando Pride was a better team on that particular night. And you got to give the credit where credit's due, and just let them celebrate. I mean, I'm sure that if KC, let's say they win in Orlando, I don't see the Black Swans. I don't see me, for example, going into the pod and ranting against KC, or you, John, posting stuff about KC, how dare they celebrate in our pitch. It happens in the sport. It's just part of the game. Yeah, I don't know. That's my opinion about that, John. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, man. I mean, I agree with all of that. I think it's very hypocritical of them to be like, oh, you shouldn't, celebrate. Like, we don't like the way you celebrated, when they're just out here whining on social media about the celebrations. It's like, okay, well, like, let's talk about the actual game. It's like you lost. And that's really what the issue is here. I feel like they're trying to change the conversation away from the fact that they lost with 10 players. And that's really what it's about. And like you said, 100%, Marta is going to celebrate how Marta celebrates. Like,
Right.
you poked the goat, right? And you can't boo her and
Right.
then be surprised when she's like, yeah, I'm gonna go nuts at the end of the game. And
Right. And
also,
then
this game was huge. The amount of build up and the way the red card and the fact that we still won, like the emotions are
right.
really high. So you're gonna
Yeah.
tell somebody like, don't express your, like, you don't celebrate like that. Like that's ridiculous. Don't tell us how to celebrate. For one, that's nothing to do with you. And two, just stop whining about it. Like it's not about that. It's got nothing to do with anything about how she celebrates. Who
No,
cares? It's nothing to do with the actual game. The fact is you lost, and they can't get over it.
no, you have to understand something. In South America, which a lot of the players come from South America in the Pride, by the way, in women's sports, they don't have 2 factions. It's the same. It's like the airline firm goes to the men and the women games. So the passions is right there, and because it's different, they celebrate differently. And obviously, if you're the host team, that's why I say I understand why KC wanted to make it difficult for the Pride. But if the Pride wins, they have the power in them to rub their in their face if they won. So, and look, let's
It would have
analyze
been
this.
exactly the same the other way
Yeah,
around.
so there you go.
100%.
It's all KC fans pretty much. And then you got, Marta and Adriana, both from Corinthians, one of the biggest clubs in Brazil, right? Which one of the craziest, most passionate fan bases in the whole of world of soccer. Okay. And then you got Lena, the 3. And I said, look, I said, you guys, now what she says there is, you guys are my kids. Meu filho, caralho. Meu filho. Meu filho,
You
caralho.
know, she's doing the
You guys
baby
are
for
my
KC.
you
For
guys
K-
are my kids. I
yeah,
own you. I beat you in your court.
right.
And that's what she's saying. You know, look, Ronaldo, you could say whatever he wants. He does this sue everywhere, you know,
Same kind of
and
thing, man.
no one's
Exactly the
gonna
same.
complain about it. No, you know,
Yeah.
Messi did the whole thing of the jersey in front of the crowd with his name on it. Like it's just part of the sport. And she's a legend, dude. Like she's like, you guys are my babies. Shut up. You guys are my kids. Put you to sleep. Put you to
Yeah.
sleep.
I mean,
And also,
it's like the same as being like, we owned you. It's the
yeah,
same, it's the same thing. It's just, it's a flex. It's you gotta have a little bit of that going on. You're gonna have it. It's part of the game. No different than there's gonna be fouls that sometimes go a little far.
no,
So,
Marta was heavily fouled in this game. Or wasn't she? Didn't you see ice on her leg,
oh,
John?
100%. That's why I don't understand this. They fouled Marta all game, and the ref didn't do anything about it. And then also they booed Marta and swore at Marta and said all kinds of horrible things to her, which, by the way, like is also just part of the game. Marta's dealt with that, so that's nothing new for Marta. But then she's gonna react that way, and then you can't be surprised. Like it's not. I don't understand. Like, are you naive? Did you just wake up? Like, what's going on here? Like this, the mentality of the Kansas City Current fans is they just don't understand. Like this is just the game, and if you don't like it, don't lose. And then she
Yeah,
can't celebrate like this.
of course.
And when
Don't
you're
lose.
saying, "Oh, you're gonna come and do that in our house," this is the funny
Don't
part,
lose.
Luis, is go
And
go check yourself a second, because I don't think you're going to do that. If the determination from the Pride players at KC Current Stadium is this much, what do you think is going to happen when they come to our house? It's going to be we're not letting anybody get any points at our house, and
with
especially not this.
the Black
After all of
Swans,
this, no, I mean we have a fortress, bro, and
they're
they lost in
classy.
their own house.
They're classy, but I mean, in this case, I mean, if they want a rivalry, I mean, it's time for Orlando Pride to have a rivalry. And if this is gonna be the rivalry, hell yeah, great. You know, it makes both teams, in my opinion, better.
Yeah.
It makes the sport a little bit more exciting.
I have a lot of respect for the organization.
Me too,
I think it's really impressive, their stadium. I think
of
there's a lot of
course.
good things they're doing for women's
Tremendous
soccer.
things.
I'm all for
Kudos.
that. But if your fan base is gonna act like this, then yeah, let's have a
Yeah.
rivalry. I'm down.
So look, I'm gonna repeat it again. She says right there, yeah. Boha. So it's like God, you know, I'm sorry when I say God
Yeah.
damn it, you know,
I
fuck.
think also you're totally right, Louise.
Yeah, and
On
now there she says F off, like, you know, but it's not an F off like saying like, you know, F off all Kansas. I hate the Wizard of Oz. I hate the University of Kansas. I hate the Jayhawks. No, she's saying like a frustration, like F off,
yeah,
like you've
yeah.
fouled me like 30 million times and I beat you. That's pretty much what that F off means.
And by the way, it
And
happens
then she's like,
all the time in the
is it
men's game in celebrations, and no one ever says anything about it, like you were saying, like, and I know Kay also posted about this, that like it's the over celebrate argument is aimed at female athletes
right?
because it's seen as like unladylike,
No, but it's
and it's
ridiculous.
a
It's
ridiculous
stupid.
argument.
It's bullshit. I'm
This
sorry.
intensity of the game, everything about this,
They
KC
are,
would have celebrated the same way,
of
in my opinion. I
course.
think they would have been over, like they would have been like whoever won this game would have been the same kind of celebrations. But
Exactly. And
whatever things you want to point out, whatever happened after the cameras, that's irrelevant. That's
then
not the
she's
point.
like, she's right here. She's like, my meu filhos, caralho. So my kids, you guys are my kids. She's saying, you beat me up.
Yeah.
I have ice on my leg.
Also, as we know, they've been giving her a
Hey,
lot of
you
abuse
got a
and
red card
fouls
too.
all
You got,
games. So what's the difference if she gives a
Carrie
little
got
bit
a
back?
red card. You see?
Yeah.
You guys are my kids.
Yeah.
I just beat you in your own game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is, and I think they're focusing on the wrong thing here, and I think they're upset because they've realized that, like you said, it's been a very nice ride for them, right? Born with a silver spoon in their mouth, you might say, for Casey Curran. It's all been rosy times, but we here at Orlando Pride we're born in the darkness, right? We're like Bane rising
We were
out of the dark, and Marta is like the symbol of that. So if you're gonna mess with Marta, that's what you're gonna get. And it's not the end of this, Luis. I think this is round 2 in September.
round
They
two.
want round 2. We're gonna be ready for them
I'm glad.
for
I'm
sure.
glad. I
Back in our
said
house.
a lot of players who played in the national team in 2019 celebrated like that when they would beat teams that riled up crowds. Rapino has done it here, and I hated it and loved it later. There you go. Jay Texas Marta with ice in her leg from all the fouls she received in the game. There you go. Of all sad words. This is where the internet thinks that she's telling the fans to fuck off and giving the finger. By the way, no, that's completely unfounded. Whoever's saying
She's
that is
speaking
fake.
Portuguese.
It's
She's
fake
not speaking
news.
English.
I just totally just said what she said exactly. You guys are my kids. I mean,
They just didn't like how much passion she's showing there, Luis.
yeah.
Clearly, it's obviously we should all control ourselves. How
Uh,
dare we?
Now there's a famous that celebration of the baby is usually done in Brazil
Yeah.
when your significant other is about to have a baby, or you put the ball on underneath your jersey, and then you simulate that.
But also, their name is
Bebeto,
KC Baby, so she knows what she's doing.
right? So she did that not to
Yeah.
say, not to celebrate a birth of anybody, but pretty much to say and imply, and she said it in Portuguese. You guys are my kids. I put you to sleep, kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
She goes
They created their own narrative.
shushing
Yeah,
the crowd.
exactly. Rachel, they created their own narrative. I saw someone on the NWSL post say the league should sanction our club for posting a player making obscene gestures.
Yeah.
I did not see. So you're gonna look. You're gonna censor. I mean, we're complaining about the FCC and freedom and rights. You're gonna sanction to say "f off."
I mean, it's
Everyone says that. I'm
it's
sure.
wild.
I'm sure Seb has says "f off" in a practice. You know what I mean?
He's English,
It's
of
part of
course.
life, dude.
Yeah.
I love
I
I love
I
that.
think it's the same thing as like when in the stadium, and they like please don't announce swearing. It's like it's soccer. Like there's gonna
Yeah,
be a certain amount of swearing. Like if you bring your kid in the wall, he's probably gonna hear me swearing at the ref. And that I'm like, well, don't bring in your kid in the wall. Like that's you know what I mean? That's part of soccer
you
culture
were a
here. It's
teenager,
gonna happen.
probably. You probably were a teenager, John, when the hooligan stuff was still going on in England.
I mean, like, no, I was that's like right after, yeah, like in the early 90s, I was still like a little kid, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was still going. Yeah, there's
It was.
definitely a lot of that, and it's bad culture. We don't want any of that, but there's a certain
It's not to
amount
that
of you can
level. It's
swear
not to
in a
this.
soccer game.
This is not a hooligan
Yeah,
behavior at all.
I think there's a certain amount of like we can just police to a level and then be like, that's enough.
Right.
And I think,
Of
yeah, and then
course.
the players, by the way, yeah, the refs in the men's game are constantly being swore at by the players. So I don't understand why this is such a big deal. I think it's just been blown up. And also, like I had one fan that was in the Facebook group of the Pride, like they're a Casey fan coming over into the Facebook Pride group trying
Why?
to troll us. I'm like, go away. Like, this is not for you. This is nothing to do with you. Like, if we meet in the world of the social media internet's great. Like, we'll have a nice debate, but this is getting excessive now.
You're
So
not gonna. I think what their fans need to do is demand for them to beat us in September and get ready.
I mean,
That's it.
it's wild. But also I've seen celebrate pretty like outrageous celebrations. They've done like all sorts of like coordinated celebrations and stuff as they just like kill other teams in the league. So why by that right then the other teams in the league should complain like what are we doing here? This is silly. So
MAFLUTTX. I don't know how to say that. It says, I love that we got a translation, Luis. No speaking Portuguese is tough as a Pride fan. There you go.
there
No,
you go.
my
Yeah.
pleasure. Rachel intentionally fouled multiple times, including right before the descent. Jay,
Yep.
Texas, the last rivalry for Orlando was Marta versus Daly. There you go. I agree
Mhm.
that. I agree with
I
that.
remember that
Rachel,
one.
yeah, I remember that one too. But after the final whistle, I think we can afford not to go totally wild. Well, I mean, it's I don't feel they went totally wild.
Yeah,
I feel they just celebrated a huge win. I mean, you
yeah.
have to understand what Marta's been through being a Pride
I think
player.
there's a lot of build up, like we said, a
Yeah,
lot of hype for this game, and also just the way they won it was, you know,
this is exactly. We all do remember the dude at the World Cup who hummed the trophy. There you go. Oh yeah,
Emi
the
Martinez
exactly.
still playing.
Which still playing, nothing happened.
Yeah, he did lots of funny things
Yeah,
that ceremony.
yeah. The team known for celebration is complaining. There you go, Jay.
Right, exactly. Jay, Texas.
I hope we could recruit similar
Uh,
crowd size for the rematch at home. Look, they need. I completely agree with you, and that's my next thing that I wanted to ask John. I mean,
mm.
for September for that game against KC at home, we gotta pack the stadium, dude.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I
I'm
mean,
sure. I just
we gotta show up. I mean, ILF ruckus with the Black Swans, a collab. I mean, put your money where the mouth is. This team is ready to win the championship for crying out loud. Like, there's gotta be more. I mean, it's getting there. I mean, it's almost 9,000, 9,300 people. I think last game.
yeah.
Uh, but I mean, it would be cool to not only beat them in Orlando, but with our crowd.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be a pretty big game. We obviously got the NWSL League MX, and then we've got 1, 2, 3 games back in NWSL before we play that game against Kansas City Current at home. But it's gonna be a big match, big home game. Let's. I just keep hoping the Pride, like, let's break the 10K mark.
Yeah.
Then let's go, 15. I just want to see it like continuing to increase
Progressive.
over the next games. And I don't know what's going to happen with this tournament coming up, whether we're going to see a drop off in attendance because of this tournament, or whether people are gonna want to come regardless, just because this team is really exciting right now.
Well, they should give fresh legs to not the starting squad. I think Seb is able to put maybe Ali Limos and
I'm excited for that,
Alex
man. To
Gurr,
see
you
see
know,
some. It's got to either Matt Crone or maybe even Sophia Manor,
Macron.
man. Maybe Sophia Manor will
Yeah,
grace the field. Who
sure.
knows?
It says, yeah, I had one guy be super rude to me about how our tickets are dirt cheap, so they're all going to come. Well, bring
Oh,
it up. We'll bring it on. I mean,
wow.
I
Okay,
mean,
that's
look,
great for us. We'll take the ticket sales. Thank you.
there you go. This
You can
is
still be sad.
well, our stadium can fit all 11K of you. Says all of sad words. We also earn a 2 mile walk up and down the bridge from civilization. This is all sad words. Laugh out loud. I'm surprised that fan isn't in these comments. They've been all of on all of my social media DMs. It's nuts, says Rachel.
They're
I'm not.
not happy. These I've got into it with a few, Louis. They're very unhappy, KC Current fans.
Yeah, it says I'm not talking about the celebration. I'm talking about the reaction to the celebration. We can't avoid embarrassing ourselves by losing that way. There you go.
I
Okay,
see what
I
you're
agree
saying.
now. Yeah.
Got it.
All of the sad words. It says I don't think a lot of folks will come to the Summer Cup games, but I think once the Olympics are over, the interest will resume for sure. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
I think
know.
the Olympics, like you said, will steal a lot of people just watching that at home. But I'm excited to see these other teams, Luis, right? I mean, these other players in this tournament. Like I said, next week we'll
I
get
mean,
deep into that, and
yeah, you have.
who we got to build a roster of players without our regular roster. So
I mean, we have Alex Skur. We have,
yeah,
we have a lot of players that do a mix of starters and subs.
yeah,
And it's a good couple games to have the subs have some minutes, and when the NWSL resumes, these guys are going to be ready to suit up if needed. So I think it's a great
that's right.
idea.
In terms of who's not going to be here, which leads us nicely onto our last sort of segment of the pod, we're going to be talking all about the international. So if you're not
Mhm.
aware, here's two right here, Luis. Oh, I went. Go back. There we go.
It's
Uh,
amazing.
Anna Morehouse there in England for the Lionesses.
Lionesses,
Super
yeah.
proud of Anna. I think they've been posting her on social media. Her first camp.
Good job, Anna.
She is on there. Then also you've got Emily Sams there on wearing USA colors. She is just as a training player for this camp, but still great for her to have some experience. And it's awesome. I know everybody's super proud of both of them. So hyped for them is what Olaf Sadword says. I totally agree. Both these two, especially obviously being American and English myself, it's pretty cool. I'm excited to see the Olympics, and I don't know if Anna's going to get any minutes in goal. Obviously, Earps is one of the best goalkeepers in the world for the Lionesses. So she's probably going to be in net most of the tournament, I imagine. But Anna, again, just experience to go and like learn from the English coaches, obviously at the top of their game in women's soccer over there as well, is going to be a great experience. And it's just going to be really cool for her. And just like we said with Emily, the same thing. I mean, she's getting to learn from Emma Hayes, who in my opinion is the best women's soccer coach in the world right now. Obviously, just joined the U.S. women's national team. And I think this is a sign for Emily in the future that she's going to, after the Olympics, if there's space in center back, right back world, which I think there is, it's not all nailed down at the back in defense for U.S. women's national team, then maybe Emily's going to have a shot at that, Luis. Your opinions on Anna and Emily getting the call-ups?
No, for sure. It's phenomenal that they're, it's night and day for Anna Morehouse from last season to this season. And from Emily Sams, it's a product of her hard work, putting all the minutes, staying healthy and being great in every single game and being consistent in her performance. So it's hard work pays off, as they say. So I think this is a product of the hard work. And this is also thanks to the coaching staff and also of the team front office that give them the trust to be part of this wonderful group. I mean, it's just, they're two important parts of why Orlando Pride is doing so great right now. So I'm happy and delighted to see them happy and representing their country. I mean, it's phenomenal. It doesn't get any bigger than that,
Not at all. I mean, it's super exciting. Anna, especially, what a turnaround, and Emily finally getting that recognition that she deserves. Also posted out today by the Brazilian national team. You can see here Adriana, Angelina, Marta, and Rafaele all arriving with the Brazilian national team. Angelina on the I forget what you call her. She's one of the rotation options for this squad, so she's not in the full squad, but she could be brought in as if needed. The other three are in the full Brazilian squad, so excited to see them performing together. I would really love Angelina to get some minutes. I know, like I said, she's not in the main 19, but she is in the 22. So I think it'd be amazing to see her. Obviously, we know Rafaele, Adriana getting back in because she wasn't in recently with injury. Marta as well, of course, is Brazilian soccer on the women's side. So an incredible achievement for those four. And then we also have, here's another picture of Emily Sams.
There you go.
Yes. Anna Morehouse, by the way, if you didn't see, it's something I forgot about, but it's right here, is in voting for goal of the week. So, sorry, save of the week. Go vote for Anna on save of the week. I also wanted to point out there's a great comment here, Luis. Jay Texas says, Ali Limos also going with the U20s to the U.S. team. There's also a U20 World Cup, and she could make the squad. Yes, Ali Limos, once again, she's been with that team, as we talked about, for a long time, like a veteran almost of the U20s now. I think someone who's pretty much assured to be part of that squad. I think someone who is going to definitely, I think, be pushing next season for one of these D-mid positions for our team. And I think part of the U20 time that she's away now with a camp again will be another good step towards potentially becoming a full-time starter for the U.S. women's national team in the future. I'm very excited about her going away and representing as well. And of course, Luis, we have the two Zambians. Cannot forget about Barbara Banda and Grace Chanda, who will be going away with the Zambian national team to play in the Olympics as well. Super exciting stuff. Excited about that. Oh, look, here's a picture of Luis
Yeah,
at
so
Chelsea.
I
That's
went to
cool.
I had a little vacation. My sister got married in London, and
This is when you went to London, Tan.
I took the liberty to go to the fulfill one of my bucket list dreams, which is going to Stamford Bridge. And I'm a huge Chelsea fan. If people don't know, don't boo me, please, if you see me. But I went, and it was amazing, an amazing tour. And Emma Hayes is a huge part of it. I got the opportunity to take a picture with Emma Hayes right there, her autograph and some memorabilia. Palmer right there, and then Gianfranco Sola, which was one of the players that made me a Chelsea fan, playing FIFA too. So it was awesome. It was an amazing experience. So I just wanted to share that real quick. Since we were talking about Emma Hayes, because she's super high
Oh
regarded
man,
over there in Europe.
I think she's gonna. I'm very excited about the U.S. women's national team, and I think that of course they're an incredible squad, but I think their chances of winning something right now, some people are down on, but I think with Emma there at the helm, like anything is possible, and she's already shown the massive influence she's had on this team. So it's going to be a really exciting tournament. I don't think I could lose either way because I could support the Lionesses and the and the U.S. women. So I've got options, Luis. Right? I'll just keep supporting both until one of them wins it. But it's going to be really exciting in the Olympics to see them as well as Duncan McGuire, who's going to be in there for the
Yeah, Duncan
men
McGuire. Yeah.
as well. So there's a lot to watch. Continuing our summer of soccer, I feel like we've been spoiled with Euros and Copa and obviously Pride just being amazing in Orlando City. And now we got this Olympics and we got the Summer Cup coming up and the Leagues Cup. So it just keeps rolling, Luis. We need like four of us. I need to duplicate myself, and
If
then
y'all
we
want to
can then
join,
we can cover. Yeah.
next
Uh,
year we're definitely gonna need somebody to come and do
oh
a league,
yes, yes,
some
yes.
pride games for me, because
Yeah. I just want to quickly talk about Banda and Chanda,
oh
right?
man,
Banda and Chanda. Watch out. We haven't really seen much of Grace Chanda. Obviously, we know of her. She's got a lot of
yeah,
tape, but we haven't seen her recently. So I'm excited to see her in the Olympics. And then we'll be like, hey, this player is going to come here and play for us. And of course, Barbara, it's going to be scary, man. U.S. women's national team takes on Zambia in this competition. So I don't like the idea of Barbara Banda running at the U.S. women's national team defense. That's scary. But hopefully, Emily Sam's going to impart some wisdom on how to deal with Barbara. We'll see. But exciting time for women's soccer coming up, Luis. You want to read a few more comments, and then we will get out of here.
I will miss Emma Hayes at Chelsea, but I think she can do incredible things with the resources of the U.S. women's national team. There
Yeah,
you go. The
for
Chelsea
sure.
Stadium tour was a lot of fun. When I did it in January, they really do have a lot of stuff for the women's team, and my tour guide knew a lot about them. Yeah, it was great for my daughter to, my daughter is starting really slow practicing the sport. So it was good for her to see, like women champions, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's good,
I
like
mean, they're
the
best team in women's
cups,
soccer
and
right now.
yeah, and and the tour there was super knowledgeable. So she got a lot of stuff for there too. It was cool, definitely. Grace better give us flips after she scores. Her celebrations are the best. LOL. There you go. Yeah, we're gonna see her after the
Yeah,
Olympics for sure. I
I'm
mean,
sure
that's
we
another
will.
threat. You imagine Chanda, Makachin, Marta right there, Band up top. Like, jeez. Jay, Texas. Ellie Limos is going to the under 20s US team. There's a under 20 World Cup, and she could make the squad. This is Jay, Texas. Rachel Anna has to be so happy. all sad words. Anna has improved massively since last year and even since the start of this year. Her confidence is generally better, and it's so great. There you go. I'm so hyped for Emily and Anna, says of all sad words. I'm mega excited to see how we do against Rayadas. Yeah, it's gonna be fun for sure. Can't wait to test this team in the international. I mean, not to be cocky or anything. I think the NWSL is in a higher level than the Liga MX.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I'm
still excited to play international soccer.
I'm excited to play. That's why I say I think we should play.
But the other teams we played before, so I'm less excited about that. It just seems like a regular game, but definitely the game against Rados will be exciting. Let's quickly, before we get out of here, Luis, remind everybody, please go and fill out the survey. It is in the chat here, or it's going to be
on our Twitter.
On our Twitter at the top. It's on our Facebook as well. Go check it out. We'd love to hear your opinions. And as always, here on Loud and Proud Orlando, you can follow us on YouTube. If you do not listen, not on YouTube right now, please go over to our channel. Here it is. You can see it. We are at 1,100 subscribers, so you can join us over here. Obviously, you can we've got the City Pod, the Pride Pod, everything laid out for you all, nice and neat. And then the same, we've got Twitter. You can go over and follow us on Twitter at LPO_podcast if you're not on there. And then also we have a Facebook page. If you like Facebook, we post here all the time as well. We also on some Facebook groups. We manage a particular Facebook group for Orlando City. All of those good things. You can also listen to us on Spotify and Apple Music, wherever you get your content. We try to be there. This is part of why we're asking for this feedback, because we want to know where you guys consume us, how much you consume, what you want to know, what you enjoy about the show, etc. What you don't.
1 hour too much? Too
little? Let us know. What do you think? It's been great to get some feedback so far. So the more we get, the merrier. Luis, the Pride Pod has been awesome. It's been great to talk about everything that we need to talk about. I'm sad there's no game this week. I'm sad that we're not going to have any Pride game this week, but I saw Seb telling them all in the post-game little huddle there, your reward is you get a week off. Our reward is we get to miss the Pride for a week. So next week we'll be back to talk more about the exciting tournament coming up against the Summer Cup. And until then, as always here on LPO, we say, Vamos Pride!
Vamos Pride. Take care, guys.